I know it's an emotional thing for Niner fans, but this is a lucky break. It's a lucky break because this was going to go down a road if the 49ers paid him like an elite wide receiver, his value is with the ball in his hands. His value is as a runner. Now, whether that's as a running back or a receiver who you throw it short to, his value is as a running back or as a runner with the ball. So, either you're going to sign the guy to big dollars and then be afraid to use him in what he's best at, or you're going to get value for him at his highest peak. And right now, it looks like they're going to be forced to do the latter. And I think that's a lucky break because I think they would pay him that money and then they would either have a broken down, expensive wide receiver, or they're going to not pay him that money. And then they're going to have a wide receiver, maybe didn't train a whole lot in the offseason, who has recurring soft tissue injuries, and you're still paying him a lot, maybe not 70 million guaranteed, but 50 million guaranteed. So I think he's doing them a favor by telling the team, I'm not happy and I don't want to be here. And there's teams around the league because of the year he had that will pay a pretty decent price, I would think, to trade for him. So I think they're lucky.
It's an interesting way to look at it. If the Niners were to trade Deebo for for AJ Brown, for example, and just swap disgruntled wide receivers and pay him instead, I'd be okay with that. But I have a feeling they're going to trade him for draft picks, and I think it's going to be really, really hard to replace Deebo Samuel. And I think they're going to ultimately regret this. Now, the question is why did he have to play running back, and is that really where his value lies? I think you could argue that he's a hell of a wide receiver. I think he had 1,000 yards in the first 8 games. He was really playing well. The problem is the 49ers are a run-first team. They're not built to throw. Their quarterback's not good. Their pass protection isn't good. They're built to run the ball. And Raheem Mostert was out. Elijah Mitchell is a little – Trey Sermon was not effective. At least he wasn't trusted. I think the scheme, the offense, the quarterback, they needed Deebo to do that. I think it was a sacrifice that he made to the team. I don't think it's necessarily how you have to use him or the only way to use him. I think it was a sacrifice he made, and I think he thought that, wow, I'm doing this for the team. I'm showing my versatility. I'm selfless. I want the ball. They're going to reward me. And it didn't happen. I mean, really, I saw this coming. Parag used it against him. Oh, you're actually a running back. Your value is as a running back, and so we can only give you, I'd be surprised if they offered him $20 million, probably less. And that, I mean, probably from his agent's perspective, from his perspective, was a huge slap in the face considering what the market is and what he did last year. So I would consider it a crisis considering how long it took the Niners to go from Terrell Owens to Deebo Samuel. Maybe they can figure out another replacement. Maybe they can find another all-pro wide receiver. They'd have to.
I know. It is interesting because it's like the Niners are run by, I think Parag, you can love him, hate him, whatever. I think he's pretty bright. Did he not see this coming? I mean, did he really not see this coming? You're going to use your star receiver as a running back and then subject him to all those hits, and then you're not going to take care of him on the back end. I think Deebo said, hey, you know what? I'm going to do this because I'm all about the W. I'm all about the win. I'm a competitor, and I'm going to show you that I'm all about it by doing whatever you need me to do to maximize my potential. But you, in turn, have to reward me on the back end. Right. And the Niners obviously didn't get the memo, or at least didn't make that decision internally. They were trying to have their cake and eat it too. We'll just use this guy as a running back, but when it comes time to pay him, we're not paying him like a receiver. We're not going to reward him for going the extra yard. We're going to try to save a buck and do what's best for us and pay him like a running back. And they created this situation, and it's crazy to think they couldn't see this coming.
I know. They just don't react well. And let's finish with Parag real quick. I bet he thought in February when he laid out the blueprint, his spreadsheet for the offseason, what he was going to do, I bet he thought he was going to take care of Deebo Samuel. I bet he had every intention of doing so. But the wide receiver market shifted dramatically. No one saw it coming. Trent Baalke gave Christian Kirk $18 million. That changed everything.
Yep. Yes.
So that became a position where you can't offer Deebo $18 million. It's a slap in the face. You're just calling him Christian Kirk. And maybe the Niners did that. It's possible that Deebo, as emotional and competitive as he is, if he got a Christian Kirk offer from the Niners, that could be it. I mean, really, we're negotiating from there? I don't know that, but it seems to me that that's kind of Parag's style. He sets a budget. He sticks to it. He doesn't deviate. And maybe that's a good thing. But in this case, you kind of had to react to the market. The Raiders did. They got Devontae Adams. I mean, say say they did the right thing or not, but certain teams have reacted. The Dolphins, the Niners are acting like, oh, we can't even acknowledge this market, and it's costing them.
I wonder how much dialogue there was between Kyle and John and Parag when they were deciding to use Deebo as a running back.
Yeah.
Parag had to come in and say, Kyle, this is going to wind up complicating the negotiation. Kyle, this is going to wind up, he's going to want to get paid as a wide receiver. We're using him as a running back. Either that can't continue because it won't last because his body won't last, or we're going to have to pay a guy that we're going to use in short yardage $70 million guaranteed, and he easily could get hurt. So I don't know if they, and then entered Trent Baalke and his horrendous offer to Christian Kirk, and that changed the market. Yeah. But I mean, they had to know that the receiver market was going to be more costlier than the running back market, and that they wanted to pay more along the lines of a hybrid running back wide receiver type price. I mean, then when you factor in the percentage of the offense that this guy accounts for, I mean, they had to know that it was going to cost them a ton of money, and here we are. And it sounds like they want to hold tight to their cap plan, and it sounds like they've now insulted this player, and now he wants out.
I'm guessing Parag lowballed him. I'm guessing Kyle had every intention of giving Deebo what he wanted at the 11th hour if it came to it. I'm guessing everyone in the organization is surprised at how Deebo Samuel reacted. Like, dude, it's not even August. Like, wait. Like, we'll give you the money. We're just going to sweat it out for a while. And Deebo's like, nope, I'm offended. This is disrespectful. I don't think Kyle Shanahan expected it. I don't think Parag expected it. I think Kyle was going to let Parag do his job, and then he was going to overrule him like he did with Trent Williams last year or 2 years ago. What was it, last year, if it was necessary. But Deebo just blew it up. Said, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do these negotiations. It seems to me if the Niners want an all-pro wide receiver, they're going to have to actually get with the times eventually. Maybe it's not Deebo who they want, but beggars can't be choosers. I mean, who was the last all-pro wide receiver they had? Freaking
great question. Yeah. I mean, Grant, I think everybody in this organization has their own personal scoreboard, and they don't want to lose their own personal scoreboard. Kyle's is a regular season scoreboard. Yep. John's whole scoreboard is tied to Jimmy in this trade, and Parag's scoreboard is tied to the dollars that he gets on negotiations. And these guys never talked it out. Once you played Deebo as a running back, fellas, you had to break him off. Otherwise, he's going to want to.
He did you a freaking favor, and to be like, actually, your value is more as a running back. Wow, I think he was expecting you to say thank you, Deebo. Thank you so much for carrying us last season. We're gonna return the favor. That's not how the Niners do business. And Deebo, I try to tell you, Deebo. Larry and I have seen this play out so many times. Ask DeForest Buckner. Ask Deebo, and Deebo. If your name rhymes with Deebo,
that's it. You're gone.
You're gone.
It's a betrayal. He views it as a betrayal.
You know what? I do too. It's a business, and maybe he shouldn't look at it that way, but wow. And the Niners are trying to make it look like, well, he doesn't want to play running back anymore. I don't know, man. He was the guy in the playoffs who turned to Kyle and said, give me the ball. Give me the ball as a running back. So to me, it's like, I don't want to be paid as a running back, especially if you're going to like use it against me, then forget it. I'm not playing running back anymore.
Right.
Anyway.
Subject your body to more hits, and for it, we'll take money off your plate.
Win-win. Thanks, guys.
But everybody's personal scoreboard is being prioritized, and I really believe that.
Kajon25 says Ayuk replaces Deebo. Use the same, almost exact same rookie numbers. Just get a better running back. No need to try to replace him. Oh boy.
You need both. He's a running back and a wide receiver. Guess what? If you don't have him, guess what you need? A running back and a wide receiver.
Thank you. That's the thing. If they trade Deebo, they're going to probably need either multiple players or multiple picks, because he's 30% of your offense. He's two different positions. He's two different players, and he's elite at both. You could argue, is he better at wide receiver or running back? I mean, he's literally elite at both. He was all pro at wide receiver last year, and yards per carry. How many running backs were above him? Zero? None?
He's your best running back and your best wide receiver.
Wow. You better get something good for him. John Mathis says, Deebo don't mind being used as running back. He asked for the ball in the game. He ran a TD, and Niners can pay me $150K. I'm much better than Jimmy, LOL. And P.S. Kittle is not that famous. LOL. Grant voice. I guess. If
John's
Deebo
up in his feelings.
Who's the face of the team? Kittle?
Parag's the new face.
I agree. I love that. Double B Studio says a couple days ago, I saw Deebo saw the playbook and said, I'm out unless Parag and Jed open up the Gucci Wallace. LOLs, who's twisting whose arm? The playbook. You think the playbook has changed that much and it doesn't feature Deebo anymore? And that's why he wants out? Wow. I
Don't think so.
disagree. I don't see it. Cut Jimmy Garoppolo, trade Bosa, sign Deebo, get Buckner back. Yeah, in a parallel universe. Thank you, Double B Studio. Should have signed Cordero Patterson. That's random. But I do love Cordero Patterson very much.
If you knew this was coming, that was absolutely seriously. If they knew that this was coming, that was the guy to go get, right?
Well, I'm telling. Hey, it stuck with me when we interviewed Ray McLeod. I asked him, "Hey, Ray, we know you're going to be playing a lot of special teams, but have they told you sort of how you figure into plans on offense?" And he's like, "Have you seen Deebo Samuel? I can do that." I mean, something to that effect. I'm like, "Oh, so you're the new wide back on the team?" And I was like, "Well, he's really confident, but maybe they told him like, there's a possibility you might be doing a lot of what he did. Not going to tell you why, but wow, maybe that's the plan for Ray because he's about 7 or 8 years younger than Cordell Patterson. He's 25.
He's young and he's versatile. Yeah. I'll tell you what made me nervous, Grant, is when I saw the list of the guaranteed money that Parag has issued since he's been an executive with the Niners. That was what opened my eyes. I was like, wait a second. He's never given out $50 million to even their quarterbacks, but now they're going to give a running back, a wide receiver that they're using like a hammerhead fullback.
True.
Give that guy $70 million.
Never going to happen.
Nope.
It's never going to happen. Deebo didn't see it coming, but Deebo doesn't know the Niners like we know the Niners. Sorry, Deebo. But you know now. You definitely know now. Shiv Norris says requesting a trade in April. Yeah, dude, you need to relax. I mean, look, he's a supreme competitor. This type of emotion is kind of what fuels him to be great, I guess. I mean, would Kobe be different? Would Michael Jordan be different? Like, I'm just saying, it kind of comes with territory if you have that type of athletic arrogance. I don't know.
I can't stand people who tell me to relax, by the way.
Relax, pal!
It's a personal pet peeve. I'm pretty damn relaxed, actually, right now. I'm pretty relaxed. Thanks, though.
We'll keep saying it. If Trey is a bust, best look for Lynch and company to lowball Deebo, piss him off so they can justify trading him. Now they have an excuse for why Trey will suck this year. I don't see it that way.
Yeah, that's hyper negative.
But I do kind of see if they trade Deebo, I think their Super Bowl window is officially over at that point. Now you're rebuilding.
Seriously, you tied their Super Bowl window to Deebo. And I understood because he is that valuable, but wow.
If he goes, forget it. I mean, this team could win 6 games.
You bet. All I got to say is you better hit in the draft. You trade him for picks. That's fine. You better hit on those picks.
Yeah, all of them. Irfan Mirza says, did you see the vid of Deebo saying that the Niners never offered him more than $20 million? I did see the video. I watched it many times. It's very confusing what's happening. He's on Instagram Live with his mom. He's not in the video. His mom's in the video. I think they're on the phone with A.J. Brown, and it's unclear whether they're talking about A.J. Brown or Deebo. They have the same exact agent. They pretty much worth the same amount of money. It's confusing. But I would believe that the Niners never – I mean, the negotiation didn't get very far. Kyle probably would have stepped in and said, let's give him what he wants like he did with Trent Williams. But if the initial offer was below 20, maybe Deebo is like, I'm never talking to you again. Don't ever call me again, Parag.
By the way, you just mentioned something that jogged a thought, Grant.
What?
The Niners better get on this like immediately.
Yes.
Why? Because there's only so many teams in an off season that have a bounty to throw at a wide receiver. Yeah. And if Titans can't sign A.J. Brown, you don't want to get jimmied twice, right? Where suddenly you don't have a place to trade your guy because everybody else jumped you in line. They better be decisive on this if they want picks.